The global crisis of hunger is frankly disheartening. This video project reviews scholarly articles, practical studies, and community insights to analyze problems and put forth solutions. The key issues we are investigating regarding human health are in regards to food insecurity. Food insecurity is a systematic problem conjured by corporate greed, globalization, and mechanization of food production. Migrant farming communities in India and America suffer oppression from a corporate food system. Lack of human health laws create marginalization and poverty. The capitalization of agriculture has increased food insecurity in farming communities. Fossil fuels pollute our air, and pesticides blanket our crops, both infecting local waterways and surrounding communities with harmful chemicals. Environmental degradation, correlated with conventional farming techniques, is escalating the current environmental crisis and jeopardizing human livelihoods, subjecting marginalized farmers deeper into poverty. The revolution of improving community health finds its roots in establishing healthy food systems. Understanding and harnessing local natural wealth like water, soil, and indigenous biodiverse, nutrient-rich crops build community prosperity. Permaculture is the ultimate knowledge base for rearranging our food system through landscape rehabilitation, regenerative agriculture, and community coordination and collaboration. I conducted an interview with Mariela Gomez-Contreras, who established and co-leads Esperanza Community Farms. She spoke of the dignity and joy she experiences from her rich connection to her community. In regards to conventional agriculture, the scarcity mindset due to people being far removed from their food systems is a contributing factor to the food crisis, comments Ms. Contreras. An indigenous way of determining wealth is how little food was wasted, exclaims Ms. Contreras. Growing food with intentional abundance through crop rotations and biodiversity increases the longevity of the harvest season. Harvesting with the purpose of nourishing the local community is a joyful experience to farming. Along with employing locals with fair wages, Esperanza Community Farms engages in local supported community agriculture programs. The local community is entered into a personal experience of co-ownership, taking participatory action in the distribution of the natural wealth of the land. Ms. Contreras and myself had a beautiful conversation, and it felt as if she was an old friend, imparting on myself inspiration and hope. One particular piece of knowledge providing insight into the power of community was our piece adds up. Our combined actions lead to results. When I inquired about the transformative solutions that are in process or need to be established, Ms. Contreras mentioned we need to normalize fair prices in markets like school lunches and utilize co-ops formed to express the power of unity and the need for justice. We are all in this together. We must share our values, knowledge, and desire for justice and food sovereignty. The revolutionizing of our health starts at the community level, but must evolve into state and federal policy to increase the efficiency of positive change in our health and food systems.
Coming to the context in India, these migrating brick kiln workers are also the marginal farmers, owing up to 1 to 1.5 acres of land, which is barely enough for their survival. Due to lack of irrigation facilities during winter season, they cannot even cultivate the rabi crop, which is usually taken in winter, and this is why they are forced to find alternative. According to statistics in India, nearly 80% of the farmers are marginal farmers owning less than 1 hectare of the land, and they cultivate crops in the rainfed system of irrigation, and they're stuck in the vicious cycle of poverty and migration. Due to lots of factors such as cost of cultivation is high, there is low productivity, and they cannot sell their crops in the APMC. All these factors cumulatively lead to the low income and hence eventually to the low standards of living, and hence there's this precarious livelihood and dismal health facilities. They do not even have the toilet facilities in the brick kiln sites and like basic health facilities. And as we see in the photograph, this is Sugandharajji. He's 57 years old and he toils all day long just to earn 700 rupees per day to make 1000 plus bricks every day. Let's look at the food insecurity in India in detail. So the causes of food insecurity in India are some of, broadly speaking, inequality of land acquisition, possession, structural inequality, and lots of dimensions such as caste, class, identity, which lead to the inequality and goes back to the history of India itself. And all these factors cumulatively again lead to the low income and inaccessibility to the basic facilities. The effects of food insecurity are malnutrition, the steal of assets, lack of good health, and again consumption of low quality food. And we can see on the left hand side the coping strategies of these people.
Political and economic systems and markets play a large role in the livelihood of food systems and the health of workers in food insecurity worldwide. Food, like any basic commodity under a capitalist system, is a commodity to be traded for profit. The more food to be produced and sold, the more profit to be made. Under this system, we have developed really intensive farming methods to produce ever greater quantities at even lower prices in methods such as factory farming and overfishing. The race to the bottom for food prices has come at a tremendous cost to social, political, and ecological systems. The intensification and industrialization of our food systems denies agriculture of its fundamental relationship to nature through livestock feed lots, GMO-seeded monoculture, heavily reliant on chemicals, brutally unfair wages for field workers in the pursuit of expanding profit margins, and since World War II era, the environmental, social, and political impact of these practices has incited a global food crisis, and the consequences of these have been ignored for decades. Relying on a conventional system to produce our food will ultimately lead to a climate crisis and destroy our food supply and lead to billions to starve and push billions of laborers further into poverty.
Advanced example of the work of the Pani Foundation. They have solved their water problems, and of the thousands of villages that competed in the Water Cup competition,
regenerative agriculture increases biodiversity and our soil organic matter. It is the way to reverse the devastated conventional farming system. Rural women play an outside role in feeding the world. Likewise, our project will enhance the health and nutrition of the rural women and their children, thus impacting the future generation. Building resilient ecosystem for farming with the help of the community health will reduce the hunger and poverty in the face of the climate change for the forthcoming generation. Community participation is important so the intended beneficiaries are aware of the issue on the ground and can work toward their own betterment.
Farmer field schools, introduced by FAO in India, have been adapted to focus on regenerating soil health.
Change is so local, yet we idealize change so much. We keep change at a pedestal. We need to take the next step together. It's time to cooperate, not only between religions, countries, or states, or tribes.